Hello everyone, I hope everyone is doing well and having a great day. I just wanted to come in really quickly and give you guys an intro for the video to let you know that it was a pre-recorded video. So I did this video earlier in the year, but I didn't get a chance to upload it. So hopefully going forward for the upcoming garden season that this information provided can be helpful to you. Greetings everyone, I wanted to come in today and discuss composting. I am a composter and I hope you guys are as well. If you're not, please consider giving it a try. You don't need a lot of space, you don't need a lot of resources. You can just start with what you have. I have a yard, but my yard is sloped on a hill, so I don't want to go down the bottom of the hill to compost. So I opted for a non-conventional approach called composting, trash can composting. So what I did with that is I got some 40-gallon trash cans and I drilled holes all throughout the trash can, bottom sides, and then I used the top as a cover, and I drilled holes through that as well. And I would make sure I had the browns and the greens and so forth, and I would compost that way. It worked wonderfully. I had 2 trash cans and I've been doing this for the past 2 to 3 years or so. And the only thing that I say as a downfall for that method is that it's narrow, and so when you want to try to turn it, that can become somewhat of a challenge, and when you want to utilize it, that too can become a challenge. So there's another approach, direct compost. So you can do it this way. I have a trash can, I have a 5-gallon bucket here, or you can do it directly in your soil or garden beds. But I'm going to show you this method here where I have a 5-gallon bucket. It has soil in there. It had weeds in that soil, and I just pull the weeds out. And since it does have soil, there are worms in there. I dug around in there. There are worms, and there are microbes in there. So this soil is probably somewhat nutrient deficient at this point. So to revitalize it, and then next year or maybe even later in the season, if I decide to do so, I could utilize this soil with fresh compost that's composted in there. So what I'm going to do is dig a hole, and then I have some kitchen scraps, and then I'm going to put the kitchen scraps in there. The great thing about this method, guys, is you don't have to worry about your browns or your greens. You just dig a hole. Make sure you have enough soil to cover the top of whatever you're putting in there as far as compost, and just leave it and forget it. You don't have to water it. You don't have to worry about turning it. You don't have to do anything. And the way, if you decide to use it in your garden beds, is just maybe put like a stake and start digging little holes in certain areas, and that way you can rotate, do the rotation method, and by the time you're done, you can start the whole cycle all over again, and that compost will already have been composted. So this is a great way to utilize small spaces and to also revitalize soil. Okay, so I got my little trowel here, and I'm going to go ahead and start digging a hole in here. And the soil is sort of rough down at the bottom. So we'll keep working it in there. And, okay. I'm probably going to have to add a little bit of more soil on top of this because I don't have enough. But that's okay. You shouldn't have to do that if you're doing it in ground. But these are some scraps that I have. There's some mushrooms that I didn't eat that got a little moldy. And some silk from the corn husk. Or corn husk. So you just dump that in there, and you recycle the carton that's left over, and then you just make sure everything is buried, and try to get as much soil as you can, because you don't want the critters to smell it either, because if you have animals living in your area, they may come for some of the food scraps. And I also recycle or compost dairy. Some people say they don't, but I find that dairy gives the soil a nice added bacteria. And so with that, I actually just dug this up, so I'm trying to put it back in there. And that's corn husk, so I don't think the animals are going to be too much on that one. But that's pretty much it. So then you can just leave it like that and let nature do its course. Come back in about a week and you will see half of this stuff disintegrated. Now that summer's here in Maryland, it's getting really hot. So I say that this soil will compost this probably within a month totally. Seeds, grains, and so forth, may take a little bit longer. But as I was saying, I do compost dairy, so I do have some yogurt that I'm going to add on top of this, and then I'm going to put some rabbit litter, and I utilize it that way too. So I use my rabbit's litter in my beds, and I find this way so much easier, so much faster, and makes me feel good that I don't have to turn anything, and then I can just come around and plant. So let me show you one bucket that I've already done. Okay, so here is one of the buckets that I have composted in probably about 2 weeks ago. What I put in here was apple peels, mango core, avocado skins and avocado core, banana peels, and I have a rabbit, so I put her litter in here, which has some shavings of aspen, and then that like toilet tissue, kind of like bedding. And then she has her own little turds. So all of that is mixed in here, and as I dig in here, you can see, oh, and banana peels. You can see her litter, but and there's like, that is, what is that? Oh, that looks like an avocado skin. But for the most part, you can't see anything else, and it's only been like 2 weeks, and so that's the best thing about this method. Everything is going to compost much faster, much sooner. What I do say is don't plant anything in here right away. Make sure that all of it's composted, because it's going to be a higher amount of nitrogen in there because it's breaking down everything, and you don't want to burn your plant's roots. But if you have some areas around your plants, I think it's totally safe. So you don't have to stick with all the traditional methods and rules. You can think outside the box and do it your way. But let me show you my trash can compost as a reference, and then it'll conclude this video. My trash can compost, I just put some newspaper on top, and there are some boxes and so forth, and that was some grass clippings, so I do need to turn it. It's pretty gross, so I'm not going to hold the camera there long for you guys, but once the top is on there, it actually composts a lot sooner and faster. But again, this method is very cumbersome compared to the direct composting method that I'm showing. So I did add the yogurt into the compost, and now it's all set just to sunbake. So I pretty much covered everything. There is one glob there of some clay mask. But anyway, I just wanted to share this. Hope it helps someone. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, show love and kindness, and have a great day. Take care. Bye.